the American dream, a compelling vision etched into our nation's identity, promising prosperity through grit and determination. But today, this dream drifts out of reach for millions scraping by. But how did we get here? The thriving middle class, once the heart of our society, now struggles as wealth concentrates at the top. Wages stagnate, costs skyrocket, and labor rights erode. The system serves an elite few at the expense of the striving many. But it wasn't always rigged. We trace the evolution of small businesses into mega corporations, and how this has changed the fabric of our society and economy. While monopolies were dissolved to protect consumers, massive companies today exploit workers to maximize profits. This imbalance undermines the dream so many still chase. But it doesn't have to be this way. Americans can illuminate the forces hijacking the American dream and reimagine a new path forward, one where opportunity extends to all seeking it. The corporate landscape of America has experienced a dramatic transformation over the years. In the early days, small businesses dominated, creating close-knit communities where customers and business owners knew each other on a first-name basis. Think mom-and-pop shops or family-owned farms that formed a considerable aspect of U.S. economic activity. To be precise, 44% according to a 2019 report by SBA. However, as we stepped into the Gilded Age, industrial capitalism led to the rapid rise of megacorporations ruling much of the American economy today. These behemoths wielded vast resources and influence that outshadowed their smaller counterparts in multiple ways, like better infrastructure or workforce capabilities. The transition from an agrarian society during the Progressive Era further fueled this shift. As small-town charm gave way to urban, bustling centers, one could witness how big corporations began solidifying their positions on Main Street, USA. Today, these mega-corporations have become synonymous with corporate America, offering promises of wealth and stability, but also widening economic disparities between different classes in society. The rise of corporate America has been fueled by the allure of success and the promise of wealth, stability, and the American dream. For many individuals, working for a corporation represents an opportunity to achieve financial prosperity and secure their future. The idea that hard work and dedication can lead to upward mobility is deeply ingrained in our society's mindset. People are drawn to the prospect of achieving higher income levels, enjoying job security, and attaining a comfortable lifestyle. Millions of hardworking Americans are finding it increasingly difficult to make ends meet. Volatile incomes, unstable jobs, and low wealth have created a precarious situation for many workers. The productivity of American workers has been declining, posing a risk to the overall economy. This decline in wages and job stability has left families on the edge, facing financial struggles and limited opportunities for upward mobility. We must address these issues and advocate for fairer wages, stable employment, and better support systems for workers who are the backbone of our economy. The middle class in America is facing a troubling reality. It's shrinking. This decline has notable implications for our society and raises concerns about income inequality. Wage stagnation is a critical issue affecting the middle class, with charts highlighting the lack of income growth over the years. Since 1979, the broad middle class has lost an average of $17,867 in income due to growing inequality. As capitalism fails to support workers fairly, it's crucial to understand why this phenomenon is happening. The future of American society depends on ensuring that the middle class can thrive once again. In today's America, the gap between the rich and the poor is widening alarmingly. This growing wealth inequality has significant implications for individuals and society as a whole. According to recent studies, the wealth gap between America's richest and poorest families more than doubled from 1989 to 2016. This means that while the super wealthy continues to accumulate vast amounts of money, many hardworking individuals are struggling just to make ends meet. The consequences of this divide are far-reaching, impacting economic stability, social mobility, and overall well-being. This issue must be addressed head-on and strive for a more equitable society where everyone has access to opportunities for success. Exploitation of labor, wage stagnation, precarious employment, and the gig economy. Corporate America's broken economics have fueled labor exploitation in key ways. Wage stagnation hinders progress despite economic growth. Precarious employment via part-time and contract work causes insecurity with limited benefits. The gig economy, though flexible, can drive exploitation with unstable income. Job polarization into high-skill or low-wage categories exacerbates inequality. Declining union membership reduces collective bargaining power. Outsourcing and automation threaten job security and wages. Lack of paid leave, health benefits, and fair schedules burden workers. Addressing these issues requires systemic change, living wages, stability, benefits, and empowering labor. The goal must be an economy that uplifts all. The toll on mental health, stress, burnout, and a lack of work-life balance. The toll on mental health in corporate America is immense, with serious consequences for workers. Stress is rampant due to demanding workloads, tight deadlines, and job insecurity. This chronic stress can cause physical health issues like heart disease. Burnout, characterized by emotional exhaustion and cynicism, is pervasive. It harms well-being and work performance. Lack of work-life balance is common, with long hours and always being on taking a toll. Poor mental health decreases productivity, increases costs, and raises turnover and absenteeism. Employers have an ethical duty to prioritize employee mental health through supportive culture, flexibility, wellness programs, and preventive measures. Individuals must also take responsibility by setting boundaries and making self-care a priority. In today's corporate landscape, there is a glaring imbalance of power between corporations and society. While businesses have amassed immense wealth and influence, individuals are left feeling powerless and voiceless. This situation calls for action to address this disparity and create a more equitable system. One way to tackle this issue is by demanding greater corporate responsibility. Companies should be held accountable for their actions and the impact they have on society. This means not only focusing on increasing profits, also considering the social repercussions of their decisions. By promoting transparency, ethical practices, and environmental sustainability, corporations can begin to bridge the gap between themselves and their communities. Another crucial step is empowering workers, who often bear the brunt of corporate greed. By advocating for fair wages, safe working conditions, and job security, greater corporate social responsibility is no longer just a nice-to-have for companies, it's become an expectation from stakeholders across the board. Consumers, investors, and communities are demanding transparency and accountability from corporations when it comes to their social and environmental impact. This means going beyond profit-making and taking active steps toward addressing issues such as income inequality, environmental degradation, and unethical business practices. Companies need to prioritize diversity, equity, inclusion, supply chain, sustainability, environmental sustainability, and governance to meet these demands. By doing so, they can build a positive reputation, improve stakeholder relationships, and manage risks effectively while contributing to long-term profitability and sustainable development goals. Transparency and accountability are important buzzwords in today's corporate landscape as people demand more from the companies they support. The broken economics of corporate America has led to a growing awareness of the need for corporations to be transparent about their actions and accountable for their impact on society. This includes not only financial transparency, but also being open about their social responsibility efforts and sustainability practices. In fact, there is even legislation being proposed, such as the Corporate Transparency Act, to combat abuses by anonymous companies. As consumers become more informed and conscious of how corporations operate, the pressure for greater transparency and accountability will continue to grow. It's time for a shift in perspective when it comes to corporations and their place in society. No longer can employees view them solely as profit-making machines, but rather as entities that have a responsibility to the communities they operate in. The idea that corporations should prioritize the well-being of their workers and be held accountable for their actions is gaining traction. The Business Roundtable, an association of CEOs from top companies, has redefined the purpose of corporations to focus on serving all Americans. This change in mindset will not only lead to fairer treatment of employees, but also foster economic growth and social progress. It's time to demand more from corporations and ensure that they contribute positively to our society's fabric. It is high time to hold corporations accountable and prioritize the needs of workers. Consumers and employees have the power to demand change in corporate behavior. This means advocating for fair wages, safe working conditions, and equitable opportunities for all workers. Corporate social responsibility should no longer be an afterthought or a buzzword. It should be ingrained in the DNA of every business. By putting workers first and being transparent about their actions, corporations can create a more just and inclusive economy that benefits everyone involved. The importance of this cannot be overstated. Our collective well-being depends on it. The broken economics of corporate America is a threat to our democracy and our way of life. The American dream is slipping away for millions of Americans as the gap between the rich and the poor continues to widen. Corporations are amassing unprecedented wealth, while workers are struggling to make ends meet. This broken system is not sustainable. It is taking a toll on our economy, our society, and our mental health. It is finally time to demand change. Corporations must be accountable for their actions and insist that they put workers first. There must change our perception of corporations' role in society and insist they put people before profits. Only through collective effort can we create a more just and equitable future for all.